Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with the M.
Auntie.
Listen, y'all, we ain't gonna be long today, but what we're gonna talk about today is important because we're gonna talk about what's that girl name? Alicia Carey, Aisha Carey, Moesha Carey, Carey. What the hell?
No. Oh, you're gonna try to chop the woman's name up. See, we can't even step out here. You can't even take one step without y'all coming for us. That's
Okay.
crazy. That's a crazy thought process. Wow.
I am so sorry, but this particular thing got me so hot, and we talked about this behind the scenes. Y'all women, y'all could be better, and I'm gonna start by saying
no. What you
y'all
mean
got to be better.
No. What you mean to say is, ladies, stop being so honest. Everything's not for everybody. Honesty is just not the best policy here. That's all.
Yeah.
Y'all mad because she's honest. Who doesn't want what they don't have? Who doesn't want the things in life that they don't have? I have to work. Now all of a sudden I want a life where I don't have to work. If I don't have to work, now all of a sudden I want the life where I do have to work. Come on. Who's ever satisfied? If I got curly hair, all of a sudden I want my hair straight. Right? If you got straight hair, all of a sudden you be looking at me like, huh? Can I get my hair like that? No. But that's okay. If that's something that you would perhaps like. But I can't fault you for your truth. Y'all wanted the truth. Y'all wanted to know what we're married, a certain type of married woman too. Y'all wanted to look into the likes of, this type of person. Everybody's feelings got hurt. Now y'all mad as men.
Girl,
all the mad as fuck.
And let me say this. And you're right. You know what? You're coming from the women's point of view, which I expect you to come from the women's point of view. That's what you're going to say.
That's your bias. Don't come in here talking about the woman. That's true. That's true. Every, not a man or a woman. If you ask me what I desire, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to be the thing that I'm not quite familiar with yet. The thing that I thought got away. And then if I say it out loud, then all of a sudden, I'm looking for the greener grass. I'm not looking for anything. I'm just simply stating how I felt. I.e., you should have kept your feelings to your damn self. Nobody wanted your honesty here.
Again, this, ladies and gentlemen, because my T over here falling out laughing. This thing, I'm going to say this to you. There's single conversation, and then there's married conversation. Single conversation is open, freelance, and you can, do what you do, have a conversation, talk to anybody about everything.
Yep.
When you're married, there's certain conversations that stay between you and your significant other. It's not for the world to partake and divide and have a feeling about what you just said about, I was looking to be married. I didn't want to have 4 kids. I didn't want to, be hanging out here doing all this. I didn't want the guys to look at me differently because I married Steph Curry, and they don't want to look at me. I have a big butt. I have a nice body. I'm cute. Why can't you look at me like you look at all the other people? We're not going to do that.
That's Margarita Mondays. That's what that's for. You and your girlfriends want to go out on a Monday night, the guys watch the kids, it's about 4 or 5 of us at the table, we're kind of whispering, we're sipping margaritas like, I got a fatty too. Why don't people pay me any mind, son? Like, that's where those conversations happen at,
Yes.
not on such a platform, because even though it's true and her feelings are definitely valid, right?
Yes.
Clearly, there's not enough people who's willing to validate. They're like, no. And this is exactly why, when you look back and you recall when you ask like elders, well, what's the secret to marriage? Or, how did you put up with them for so long? He'd be like, honey, it's not easy. Y'all gonna have some tough time. They don't never tell you what the tough times were. Unless you
Nope.
was there for it, you would have never known. What were the times? The times were tough.
That's true. Times were tough.
Yeah.
You got to survive it. Because, we get asked that that question all the time. Like, how do you do it? How you been married for 30 years? How you been married for 20 years?
Yeah.
First of all, there's a communication and there's a trust issue. We all, and ladies and gentlemen, T and I have gone through a lot of shit. I mean, we've been married 30 plus, 20 plus years, but that shit wasn't all peaches and cream. It wasn't all beautiful and blue skies and the rainbow in the sky. No, that shit was hard. That shit sometimes, like I said, would make you like, why am I in this motherfucker? Why am I actually sticking around in this? But you realize that this is all part of the journey, all part of the journey of marriage and relationships. That there's always going to be some things that's going to happen. But that's for you and your husband to have a conversation about. That's for your girls and your guys. Talk about married people talk about married shit.
Mm-hmm.
But what you don't do is you don't go to a podcast and sit there and have this open conversation like you sitting there, as you said, T, like you have Margarita Monday.
Yeah.
You don't sit there and lay back and you just want to open up all your secrets, which then opens you up to ridicule. You may not
want the
want
audience to note how you advise them on how to communicate and how things are going to get tough in the relationship, but you have not divulged not one bit of tough thing in your journey thus far.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it light.
You're not supposed to.
But
right?
You know what? You're right. You're not supposed to.
Yeah.
But there's certain things you can give them the blocks.
And
but you ain't supposed to.
And she didn't. She didn't. Right? She gave too much, and the world. Okay, we always say for better or for worse when it comes to marriage, but the reality of it is the people on the outside of your marriage, they only want to see it for better part. And I know it might, for like the non-married people, they might not get that, right? But it's hard for my mother to see my spouse and myself, in a struggle, right? That's hard to see. She would much rather see us at our better moments than the for worse. So if that's your own mom, how you think your siblings are going to feel, or like your coworkers, like most people, without saying it, they're literally there for better.
Yes.
It's just the easier run to deal with. Nobody really wants to see married people at their lowest. Truth be told, you can pretend like it's funny and all that good stuff, but I'd much rather see them people happy than to see them sad. Yeah,
exactly. Because what happens is now people who aren't married will look at that and say, "Oh Lord, look at you can never make a woman happy." Because this is what I've been getting. I've been getting a lot of emails for saying, women ain't never happy. These modern women, you can't do shit. Look at Steph Curry, man, that dude out there. All the guys love him. He is some asshole, some dickhead. All the guys love him. And how the hell is she gonna be in that perfect position and want to put that man out there and expose him, make him look a sucker, a chump, or a simp out there? What the hell? That's why we don't get married. Of course,
no, it's not, because your ass is broke, stupid. Yeah. And the joker who was saying this stuff, he was broken, and they always want to use, a decent situation to be like, that's why I'm not that. No, that's not why you're not married. No, it's because you're selfish, okay? And I'm sorry, that was my own little tangent, but he tried it, okay? But I've heard a lot of that. And we're so self-centered right now that we forget that how we move reflects off on each other, right? Like if I am your child, right? How I'm moving in the world is reflective of my parents, right? So if I achieve great accomplishments, people will be over there, patting my parents on their back. And, if I end up, behind bars. People be over there looking at my parents crazily, like, what happened there? So it's the same thing when we get inside of these relationships. And technically, whether you're married or not married, if you attach yourself to someone, how you move, it starts to reflect those people. And then those people have to sometimes pay a price for how you're moving in the world. And that's something that we can try to like shrug our shoulders and be like, YOLO, I don't really care, I'm myself. But that's not going to relinquish your partner from having to bear any burden from you walking without care, with you moving without care. Because ultimately, that's all, and not just her specifically, right? But there's a lot of us who are out and about and we're moving around without thinking about how it's going to directly affect the people that we've chosen to attach ourselves to, right?
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. You have to be mindful. And I think that's what you just said. People aren't, they're just out here just moving, ain't really thinking. The thing is, I am conscious, always thinking about how do I act, how do I answer certain things, how do I do certain things. But again, that's from years of being married and years of, we all grow up dumb. We all men and women start off dumb. We don't know better. We try to figure this shit out along the way. But along the way, you get your groove. But then once you get your groove, you try to pass on to somebody else. So I always try to have that conversation. Like, I don't care what you're going through in your house or what you're going through with your marriage. Please don't go out there and tell people your shit, what's going on in your house. They don't need to know. In fact, that's just a way for them to get in your life and then talk about you. Because again, misery loves company. Now, if my life is fucked up, I want everybody's life to be fucked up. Because I don't want to be the only one sitting outside saying, I wish I had this, I wish I had that. No, you can't do that. And there's certain things you need to keep to yourself. And certain things, and T, there's some days, I always say this, you'll be mad as hell. You wake up and look at that motherfucker like, this motherfucker's still breathing.
Yeah, but I can say that, without saying that. Right? If I wanted to be the person who's, letting you all know, hey, no, I'm sleeping next to a giant, and every so often I wish the giant would just, miss a few, you would dance around, and you have to sometimes dance around your words in order to give a message that really connects with what the people are going to, listen to and respond to. And if you're not doing that and you create that disconnection, and they're hearing what they wanted to hear, because of course people already have their own idea of what you're speaking about, right? They in their mind, they already like, nah, marriage is like this, and she looks like this, he provides like that, so this is how their situation should go. And if it's anything other than that, and you can't convince them of what you're speaking on, the marker's totally missed.
Yep.
And that's like, it's nothing left.
That's the true statement. Because people, and we live in a world where everything is just so, it's just sudden, it's shock. It's always something that's going on that just keeping you on edge, keeping you thinking about what am I doing? You compare yourself. That's the other thing a lot of people want to do is compare themselves. You can't compare yourself to other people. All you can do is say, I'm in this space. Can I find something to work in this space? Because again, a lot of people don't come from relationships or areas where they have healthy relationships. They never seen a healthy relationship. So to them, it's like, let me talk to my boy. Let me talk to such and such. Let me talk to this. And that's not the thing you should do, because a lot of these people can't give you an answer. But in fact, they're more fucked up than you are. So you go to them for an answer. They can't have an answer. They ain't got an answer for this situation. And that's why when it comes to this young lady, I just didn't understand what the purpose was. Now, if the purpose was to say, I started off, I dated him. I didn't know this would get this far, and and then now I'm at 4 kids in. I'm doing my own thing. It catches like that sometimes, So you're trying to explain how I get wrapped up in this wave. But to come out there and basically hit you with the whole, I want to be a career woman, I want to be this, I want to be that. Well, the biggest thing is you could have stopped all that. If you want to be a career woman, didn't have kids, you had to have that. You could just say, you know what? I hear you, Seth. Hear you want to be your wife and all that. I ain't feeling it right now. I need to go ahead and follow my path. Now, the path would not have been with Steph Curry, and maybe when it was someone else, but to look back like somehow you missed something in life, like somehow, yeah, I want to be this. I want to be a CEO of something, but that
That's
damn Steph Curry hit me with 4 fucking kids. I ain't want no goddamn 4 kids. It feel like you're complaining.
you know what, Malcolm? Because that's what y'all all do. That's number one. I'm gonna go team Aisha, okay? And I'm just let you know that what she was doing was basically speaking from, it's just like a rawness. And so many women can relate to that. Like when you start having children, it's not like, oh, you hop in and then hop out and then, oh, I go be a career woman, then I go nurse them on my tit the next day. It's not like that. It's a whole whirlwind. And then 10 years later, you look up and you be like, shit. Oh, we did that, babe. I'm supposed to go to school and get my degree and go be like a PhD. What happened? You over there scratching your head. You thank God that your nipples still, sitting up halfway to something decent. So, like, it's lots of things to be grateful for, but the motherhood, the walking as a wife, it can become a whirlwind, and you can kind of sit back and realize that time had walked past you so quickly that you didn't have really like a real grasp on it. And it's shocking to kind of come out of it and reflect on it and be like, I just went past 10, 15 years and I didn't even do nothing I said that I was going to do. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy this run, because it was one hell of a run. Now, Bay is Baying, okay? He's everything that a man could be. But damn, did I just miss my whole self? And my man became a whole living legend at the same time. Stop playing. First of all, that type of pressure, everybody's talking shit about that woman. Y'all won't even live any bits of this lifetime and receive that type of pressure to be living and sleeping in the same bed as a living legend. A whole legend. And that's my man. First of all, you already know we take men for granted. Just like how men take women for granted. She be super cute in the face, nice hips, lush lips, but it's another one out there like that. You know what I'm saying? It's another one. So we can't treat her like that for saying, I want to be human and I just want to tell my story. I'm saying, sis, these humans are not worthy of your story. They can't handle the shit. I get it though. There's several women who get it. I'm gonna come to the rescue on this one just to elevate my brothers who, bashing her like, she don't get it. She don't get the public platform perhaps, right? And protecting, your household, because people's coming with these rocks, right? And she didn't have to tell me and the people who get it. She actually didn't have to tell us, because we already know.
Yes, we know. You've been married for a long period of time. You can understand it. She ain't had to do any of it. She could just, like you said at the beginning, well, no, we go through some good times, some bad times. We understand that.
We had some great times. I done did some things I didn't want to do. He done put up with some shit he didn't want to put up with. We made it through. Hallelujah. Yeah. Sometimes you can't give the people too much. The people, first of all, they want to be where you're at. And in order to get to be where you're at, they're gonna try to do you out of your position. So the first thing is to not let them even really know the position, right? That's why so much allure to and so much mystery, right? To the unknown of marriage, right? They be like, a married man don't do it. Married women don't do that. People in marriages don't do shit. It'd be a whole slew of whatever going on.
That is so true. That's very true. Because again, that's what marriage is all about. I mean, it's you're two people, two totally different individuals coming together to be one.
Yeah.
You know, nobody has a clue how hard. The people who watch this who are married, they get it. The ones who are single don't have a clue.
Yeah.
We
And
can
then
tell you, they
you
don't
imagine
know.
starting off with your person who's a nobody and then become a somebody. But like not like your girl had a flat booty and now she got a fat booty. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because even that's a lot of pressure. Let's keep it 100, right? Let's keep it 100. Your girl go from getting like minimal attention out in the public to now she's like stopping traffic. Some of y'all can't handle it. Some of y'all couldn't handle it, you know.
That's
And
true.
you got an athlete, that first of all, before they smell good, they stink. That's number one. Let's just keep it a box. So she already laid up with this funky ass man, you know what I'm saying? And loving her. That's what killed me about girls who love athletes. Like you gotta love this man. You feel me? Love,
Yes.
because they smell not great 75% of the time.
Yep.
75% of the time. So you got her laid up with this man. You got to be a nothing at some point. In order to be a something, you had to have been a nothing. And I'm assuming she knew. Did she know he was a nothing?
Oh yeah, they've been dating since I think high school. So
Yeah,
she
come
knew
on.
it
Come
since the
on.
beginning.
We don't know the pressure of getting a nothing who has created not a something, a fucking a legend. No, y'all not gonna come for that woman. Y'all don't know her life, okay? Y'all don't know what it's like. Y'all don't know what it's like. That's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure. So keep your shit to yourself. They can't handle it. That's all I'm gonna say. They can't handle y'all lifestyle. This is a lifestyle that's not even. They're not worthy of this information. That's when the shit just comes. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it. They're not even worth. They don't have the mental capacity. The men. Some, oh, she jealous of her. Look at her looking at her cell phone and they try and give all the praise. Bitch, you should have looked up. You real loud could have looked up. Keep your shit together. But all that other stuff, come on. No, they're not worthy of y'all lifestyle.
And,
That's all I say with that.
and you're right, and that's why you have to be smart. When you get to a position like that, you have to be calculating. You can't just be all willy nilly doing some fuck shit,
Mm-hmm.
just get on a TikTok talking some crazy shit because that's gonna come back to haunt you. And why fuck up your happy home because you have something internally that you're trying to fight through? If
Yeah.
if you have an issue with that, then go see a therapist. Go talk to your husband. Do something to do. Being on a podcast is not the way to do that. And
Mm-hmm.
again, uh, you're probably saying about what we went through, and I understand that because we all leave dreams on the table.
Mm-hmm.
As married people, there's things that happen that you can't really do anymore because now when you're single, you can say I could do this, I could do that. But when you're married, then you have somebody else to answer to, and they have to answer you.
Also, don't forget, before all that, you was poor and you ain't have enough money to do the stuff that you had wanted to do anyway. Let's stop always blaming stuff on marriage and the children. Sometimes you just wasn't gonna be able to do that stuff no damn way, okay? And that's all right. Life
Yes.
happens. Count the damn blessings and carry on. Because we out here doing too much, pretending, right? It's like, oh, I gained all this weight because I had children.
And people can't really use that because I hear people say it all the time, but then then of course there's you. You're a person who had
Stop
three
it.
kids.
Don't use the example of the horrible.
Yeah, if you had three kids, you're lucky you have any kids. But there's women who have one kid, look, they're pregnant now, and the kid 30 years old.
That's what I'm saying. So sometimes, like, let's say you had wanted to pursue a career. Sometimes you didn't have, the financial capacity to pursue, that career. Sometimes you just weren't dedicated enough. You didn't have enough discipline. And then you got pregnant because, you was out hanging out. You was out hanging out because you wasn't disciplined. It was a good chance that you wasn't going to make it all the way through to the end, not because you got pregnant, but because you lack discipline. You see
Yep.
what I'm saying? Like, so sometimes the marriage and the kids kind of cover up who we are in real life, right? Because if you wanted a career, you know, go get a career. Now like you can still work now.
Yes. You can still say, I 15 years, I raised these kids, now I want to go back. Because people do it. Women do it all the time. Men do it. So
Yeah.
it can be done. But I think what men don't want to hear you complaining about your situation. It's like you're married to a legend, a Hall of Famer, but yet that's still not good enough for you. And I think that's what a lot
No,
of
she
men are
never
saying.
said it wasn't good enough for her. No, I didn't hear that.
No, I
When
think
did she say that? When I
she
didn't hear
didn't.
any of it. I
She
didn't hear,
didn't.
no,
She didn't.
let's be honest. I didn't hear any of it. Let's just be
See, this is why you got the guys that are like, I dare you be sitting next to a legend and complaining.
But when
And
did she say she didn't like what happened? She didn't want to be with him?
what? No, it was kind of like
Yeah.
together. They broke up. They got back together. They got married. So she went kind of through the liaison of what they did to end up here. And it's like, oh, okay. So, but to me, what was the purpose of having that discussion? I mean, it was, you said all that to say, hey, I didn't get a chance to be this, didn't get a chance to be that. You got regrets. And that's why I hear, that's what a lot of guys saying. Like, I regret, I could have had my own career, but I fucked around with Steph Curry with his soon to be a Hall of Fame getting ass. And now I'm gonna back.
I done fucked around with a whole goat on accident. I stumbled into this. We didn't know this was gonna happen. And greatness is something that you normally stumble into. You don't know. And old girl is saying, yo, I almost let this goat go like 4 or 5 times before we walked there. Did you know where I would have been at? I would have been in college, that and all types of. That's what she's saying. Y'all trying to misconstrue that woman's words. Y'all the worst. Wow.
But see, and that's why when I saw it and I heard about it, and I kind of glanced at it, it was kind of like she needs her own PR. Somebody needs behind her, say, honey.
Now that's a fact we can sit on. Yeah. She don't
what
even.
You gonna do? Where you gonna go? What you talk about? Oh no, you need to bring that up.
Yeah, don't even do these. Don't even do it. Don't even do it. Night. Because first of all, if people only want to chop you down, you might as well stay shut.
Yes, you're right there. Because people are always looking to chop you down.
Yeah, and the idea of a woman just not speaking, it go over real well sometimes.
Yes. You just gotta be quiet. Just get to a point, say it, and keep it moving. Nobody needs to know all the dirty details. We don't need it. And this is a message to anyone who's currently dating, someone's about to get married, who are currently married. There's certain things you keep at home. And as old people say, that's table talk. Mm-hmm. You don't be out there talking to everybody because everybody ain't for your happiness. Everybody ain't for you, moving further than they're moving. Everybody's all wanting to chop you down, hold you back a little bit because that's human nature. So all we're saying, everybody, is married, dating, whatever. There's certain times you don't need to bring up what's going on in your life. Either you talk to your partner, you talk to a therapist, you talk to someone, a pastor, whomever, who can help you solve the problem. Because going out there to those other people ain't going to solve your damn problem. It's going to cause more of a problem. Because the other thing is, women love to hear what's not happening in your house. Because that's like, you're not cooking, you're not doing this, and you're just running off the mouth. You got diarrhea in the mouth, and next you know, they're waiting for you to slip up, waiting for you to slip. Because I can cook for that man. He's a good man. Because those women, they ain't got nobody. They damn sure know what you got, and they damn sure gonna be like, if you fuck around, slip up, shoot, I gotta be in there, give him what he wants, because I get what I want. So you just can't give people that kind of ammo to try to shoot at you. You got enough people shooting at you.
Yeah, I mean, and that's part of the walk of being a lady, right? Finding a very healthy balance that keeps us secure. And part of our power, our tongue, right? But that's also the ability to not use it on some real stuff, right? I was kind of joking earlier, but on some real stuff, it's how you protect your empire sometimes. Because misery really does love company, and sometimes people lack an empire, right? And they're willing whatever they can do to and take away your empire, right? To at
Yep.
least knock your empire down and to make it weaker, right? So
Yes.
let's say I'm a man and I don't want that man, I don't want men, right? That's
Mhm.
not what I'm into. But I don't mind knocking that man's empire the hell down because, why not? Why would I want anybody whose empire could be bigger than mine? Right?
Hello.
So those are the reasons why, you know, you use your tools of strength, your strong tools, and for the woman it's always going to be your tongue. And you use it with intent. In today's world, we forget to use and to move intentionally, right? And it's
Yes.
like, oh, I didn't know that, the public was going to take it like this or like that. But why don't you know? So now moving forward, it's the idea to be mindful to use that thing that is strong like a sword, right? Um, Intentionally, right? And if you're going to slice, make sure that you're slicing with some bit of intention behind it, because either way, it's a sword. Once you move it, that thing gonna do what it's gonna do. So it's done what it's gonna do, but then you're looking around childlike, right? Like a kid, like, I didn't know that was gonna. Who says that? Those are children who says that. So now, you have this person moving in ways that they didn't even intentionally think that they were moving in. That's a kid,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So it's like
Yes.
protect protect your empire. Watch what you say out of your mouth. Protect those who you represent. Whether you want to admit that you represent these people or not, you do. It's like your children represent you. You don't want your kids doing nothing crazy. Let me representing me like that.
Yes.
You can't represent your man any type of way. You for darn sure don't want your man to represent you any type of way. Be damned if a man try to make me look crazy. Come on. Come on. Come on. You already know how women act. You already know how we feel. See my face is all up or it's not even real life. Just the thought process. Oh, I'm pissed off. Like, I wish a man would. And then to move like you have no idea of how you're moving. That's how many times would we do that? You see what I'm saying? That would turn me
Yes.
off. I'd be pissed off. Like, so you're a kid? What are you, 7? Mm-mm.
That,
Mm-mm. You
that
don't know
is
what you're doing,
so,
how you're moving. That's weird.
girl, T, again, you, as you always do, you make it very simplistic because again, we are in adult relationships. Um, so you had to handle yourself accordingly. So if you're gonna go out and start thinking, if it's gonna sound weird to you, if you say it to them, if I go out and tell somebody about my business, how first of all, why would I do it and why would they care? And what's the repercussions of that? See, all these things you need to think about before you open your mouth and start out there spewing, because once it's out there, and now you have people like us talk about you, like, why the hell you do this?
We're
But
not
again,
talking about you. We dissecting the situation and tying it to some regular stuff because we don't
yes,
learn from the situation. We're just hoping that the people who have given us this information, this fuel for this episode, are learning from it too.
yes, yes, because you have to, because well, everybody's gonna go through this at some point, whether you make it, you become a self carrier or anybody else, you're gonna go through some things like this. But you have to have boundaries. The
Mhm,
first thing you have to understand what the boundaries are. And marriage, relationships, all of them have boundaries.
mhm.
When you don't have boundaries around them, then you have stuff that we're talking about now that happens because you just out there, just loosey goosey, tongue wiggling, waggling, and just saying all kinds of shit because you want to get off your chest. But then there's the ripple effect that happens once it comes back on you, and you're like, oh, I didn't want it to be that way, but you started it by you talking about it and not keeping it in house. This is why we're talking about this situation and telling you guys, to avoid situations like this. There's no need to talk about it. If it ain't going in your house, you need to talk about it. I'm saying don't even talk to your damn parents because again, they're still bringing other people in your relationship and they don't really know the total picture. So the two of you guys who are working know the picture and just work it out. But this is a learning experience, to be honest. for everybody out here in a relationship.
I say that there's conversations. It's sort of like what they call the locker room conversations for men, right?
Hmm.
I'll call them our tea time conversations, right? Where you
Yes.
say, you just don't say all the words and all the details, and you keep your pinky in the air, you know. Uh, like don't look at don't listen too much to what I'm saying. Just pay attention to my pinky. Like, girl, no, he ain't worth much. Like, but none of them worth much. Yeah. You don't say, not that my man isn't worth much, but none of them worth much. But, like, it's in between sips. Don't give them too much. There's not too much detail. I'm talking in general. You got to know how to have these mature conversations without divulging too much, because you're going to want to come back from these things.
Yes. And ladies and gentlemen, and she always wrap things up in a bowl. That's it. Remember that. That again, when you put stuff out there, don't be mad or pissed off when it comes back on you, and then you're all defensive. Well, again, understand who started this whole conversation. It was you. It wasn't them. So you open your world up to other people, they're gonna be in your world, and you're not even gonna like it at all. You got any final word for these people, T?
Oh, I mean, and husbands, always be forgiving to your ladies, please, because I'm just saying, be kind to one another.
Okay, as T said, be kind to one another, and definitely be kind and have boundaries, and stop talking your goddamn mouth to everybody about your business.
I
It's
feel
your
like
business.
I feel like the men want stuff to toss her in the trash, and it's not happening. And that's what they would have did to their lady. Like, no, be kind to the women. Yes, we're gonna mess up. Yes, our mouth gonna get us a little bit in trouble, but bring us back just a little bit and have forgiveness.
And with and with that, we're gonna end this episode of On the Mic with the M.
Let's see.
Listen, people, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button so you get the next podcast that comes out. And again, take care of you guys, take care of yourselves. And until next time, peace and blessings.